Do you know where the name pharmacology comes from? The word pharmacology comes from the ancient Greek words pharmakon, meaning drug, and logia, meaning knowledge of. According to the British Pharmacological Society, pharmacology is the study of how medicines work and how they affect our bodies. Despite pharmacology being a vast topic, I will try to explain the main topic to build a big picture of this exciting theme. Let's start with some principles of pharmacology. Pharmacokinetics. The term kinetics refers to movement. Explain how a drug moves through the body and what happens to it at each stage. Pharmacokinetics include absorption. It means after a drug is administered, how it reaches the tissues and then cells, which factors can interfere or enhance the absorption. Distribution, how the drug is delivered to tissues. Metabolism is the process by which the body breaks down and converts a drug into substance that can be more easily eliminated. Excretion, how the body eliminates the drug. That can be through the feces, urine, sweat, even breath. The other principle is called pharmacodynamics. It means how drugs affect the body and how the body responds to them. This includes nature of drug receptors. The receptors can be located on cell membrane as the ion channel receptors that works like gates opening and closing to allow ions to pass in or out of the cell. Or the receptors can be intracellular. The drug needs to pass through membrane to reach its target. Drug receptors interaction. The receptors work as a lock-key complex, where the drug is a key and the receptor is the lock. It means if they fit perfectly, we can open or close the door. When a drug activates a receptor, producing a response in the body, like increased heart rate, this is called an agonist effect. In other cases, a drug can prevent response, like stopping a hormone from causing an effect. This is called an antagonist effect. Dose response relationship, how the drug actions change with increased dosage. If we increase the dose, the numbers of receptors activated will increase and the intensity of response, so on. Paracelsus said the dose makes the poison. Let's talk about drug classification. There are many types of classification. We can group the drug by mechanism of action, chemical structure, legal status, therapeutic use, etc. Let's talk a little bit of therapeutic use. It is useful because it helps organize and simplify the understanding of medication based on conditions they treat. Here we can see some examples of this as analgesics, anticonvulsivants, and so on. Do you know how a drug is discovered and developed? Why some drugs are pills and others are injections? Despite of use of natural resources, the manufacture of a drug involves a lot of chemical science, including the synthetic drug sources. Before a drug be commercialized, there is a long path to follow, starting in preclinical tests. Preclinical testing is the stage of a drug development that takes place before a new drug is tested in humans. It is essential to ensure the drug is safe and has potential benefits. Discovery and early research. Target identification. Scientists first identify a biological target, for example, a protein, that is involved in a disease. Then, drug discovery. Researchers then find or design compounds that might interact with the target to produce a therapeutic effect. In vitro testing. In vitro means in the lab, and this involves testing the drug candidate on cells, tissues, or isolated proteins in a controlled environment, like a petri dish. Scientists assess whether the drug has desired effect on the target and start to study its mechanism of action. They also check for toxicity and cytotoxicity. In vivo testing. Once the drug shows promise in the lab test, it moves to in vivo studies, which are carried out in animals. This is required by regulatory agencies before human trials can begin. In vivo testing target three main features: pharmacological, pharmacokinetic, and toxicological effects. Pharmacological studies provide the first information on the therapeutic potential of the drug and its modes of action, as well possible side effects. Pharmacokinetic studies provide information on absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. Toxicological studies include studies to assess general toxicity, mutagenicity, carcinogenicity. In summary, a drug is tested in a cell culture, then in a small animals, and subsequently the same drug will be tested on larger animals, which are evolutionarily closer to humans. If a drug is approved on preclinical tests, the next stage is the clinical trials. A study found that only 5% of drugs tested in animals are approved to test in humans. Clinical trials are the stages of testing where a new drug or treatment undergoes in human to assess its safety, effectiveness, and side effects. Here is an overview of the four main stages of clinical trials. Phase 1. It is a small group of people. The focus is on safety and determining the right dosage and possible side effects. If the drug reaches the criteria to be approved, we go to the phase 2, where we have more patients enrolled. The focus is on the drug's effectiveness and side effects. If the drug shows more benefits than risk, it goes to the phase 3. In phase 3, a much larger group of people than in phase 2. It is a large-scale testing to confirm effectiveness and compare to current treatments. These trials are usually randomized, controlled, and double-blinded, meaning neither the patients nor the researchers know who is receiving the drug versus a placebo. If successful, the drug company can submit a new drug application or biologicals license application to regulatory authorities like FDA or EMA for approval to market the drug. Phase 4. Post-market surveillance. The drug is now available to the general population, but ongoing studies may involve thousands of patients. Is a post-market surveillance to monitor long-term safety and effectiveness. In this phase, it is possible to observe rare or long-term side effects. Regulatory agencies can make changes to the drug's label, restrict its use, or even withdraw it from the market if new risks are discovered. Do you ever ask it why your medicine is in tablet or capsule form? Or why some medicines needs to be administered via intramuscular injections? The drug features are developed mainly during the preclinical trials and initial phase of clinical trials, where the scientists study how they react, absorption, metabolism, toxicity, etc. Drug formulation is all about designing and creating the final form of a drug that delivers the active ingredient safely, effectively, in a way that patients can use easily. It involves combining the drug with excipients, considering factors like bioavailability and stability, and optimizing the delivery system for the best therapeutic outcomes. I hope you enjoyed this brief explanation about pharmacology.